Can you please, to begin, tell me who you are and your background?
I'm Wayne Miller. I was the CAO of Town of Essex from 1987 to 2013.
That's a very long spell.
Yeah,
Thank you for your service.
and now I do this.
Did you have this going back then when you were on, or no?
No, I sort of was background owner of the sports shop down the street. We
Uh-huh.
closed, sold this business to somebody else, and I just worked to keep busy.
Okay.
Yeah,
And do you like being like an uptown business? Is
yeah,
it doing well for you?
yeah, yeah. I don't own it, so I don't have to worry about that part of it.
Well, thank you for that. And let's move on to the actual
Yeah.
questions.
Okay.
Um, can you provide the years that you were the board of ELK?
Oh
Was it from inception in 2000?
no, it was from when from when we actually, when the town actually bought it, bought out our other partners.
Okay, so you
Make
didn't
sure,
have a board seat until about 2008.
yeah, I'd say that.
Okay. And actually, what brings me in is that transaction. So, somebody told me to come visit you because it was you and Donna Hunter
Yes,
were the ones like that were put the deal together.
yes.
Can you please describe that because I can't find that information anywhere?
Describe it.
How the deal came about. Actually, so maybe I should tell you what I understand the transaction was like, and then
Sure.
you can fill in the blanks or
Yeah.
correct me.
Mm-hmm.
It's my understanding that in 2008, E, L, and K were all together. However, Lakeshore and Kingsville had the idea to sell their shares.
Yes.
They put out an RFP and looking for interested buyers, and Chatham was the best bid.
Mm-hmm.
How come Essex did not put in a bid?
We didn't want to sell.
Well,
Essex did not want to sell out.
okay, and how come you didn't put in a bid initially to purchase the partner shares?
Um, we really didn't have to. We had rights of first refusal,
Okay.
so we could wait and see what their highest bid was and match it.
And so that was kind of like in the constitution of the company that you can match any bid for the competing shares.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm not 100% sure. It was, Donna would know better. It was in whatever agreement there was between the three communities,
Mm-hmm.
which would have, well, ELK would have started in what, 99, 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so whatever agreement there was there, we had right of first refusal, so we could wait and decide if we wanted to pay that.
Do you recall at the time if you guys matched the bid from Chatham, or did you go over or under?
I don't really know what
Okay.
Chatham's bid was, so
Okay.
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And
About 18 years.
I've been out of the business for 13 years, so I'd rather talk about how to make a T-shirt.
Um.
And then we had to go to the energy board to get it approved once we
Mhm.
had an agreement. Lakeshore and Kingsville, each part of the deal was that they would each have a seat on the board. The board was 6 people. Um, Donna and I were on it for the first while just because we had put the deal together and just to sort of see it through. We didn't expect to be on the board long term. Didn't particularly want to be.
So my next question is kind of about that, of like the timing of things,
Mm-hmm.
because it's been brought up recently that ELK was kind of expected to be a long-term investment that generated funds for the town of Essex.
That's right.
How I've been looking at it is Essex was kind of like the steward of the electric utility for the county, and like we bought the Lakeshore and the Kingsville shares, and to kind of protect the community power grid and to keep that going.
Yeah.
But
And it was good investment.
Right. Okay. So it was all of those
Yeah,
things. It was designed to like keep our power local and
yeah,
not get gobbled up by somebody bigger.
that's right.
Can you touch on that at all or elaborate?
Yeah, I mean that was really the reason, just to so that we would have control over our own power. Um, Serving Kingsville and Lakeshore, from Essex point of view, was just part of it.
Yeah, because they were
Um,
neighbors,
yeah, they're neighbors, and
and they were given a board seat,
yeah,
and I think that board seat remained throughout because of the last term of ELK. Kim DeYoung, their deputy mayor,
yeah,
was appointed,
yeah,
and I think Lakeshore had a person too until they
yeah,
resigned.
yeah.
So,
Well, they would, yeah, they would have continued to have one until the utility was sold.
mhm.
And at the time, um, the long term thought was that maybe 23, 30 years down the road, it might be advantageous to sell it.
That was a thought at some point.
Yeah, we always thought that at some point, because at the time, the provincial government was really pushing for utilities to become bigger and fewer.
Yes, and that has still gone on very
Yeah,
recently.
yeah,
Something I uncovered is that there is a tax now on electric utility assets sold. And what they're doing is they put this huge tax and said if you sell your utility, whatever customer, a number of customers you have, you fit into this criteria of
yeah.
tax you have to pay. And but what they've done is said there's exemptions. If you sell it soon, you don't have to pay this giant
Sell it soon
tax.
and probably sell it to one of the big ones that are
Yes,
already
and
there.
so they're pushing the smaller
Yeah,
utilities
yeah,
to for consolidation.
yeah.
So,
At the time that we did this, Essex was in the top 20% of utilities in the province in terms of service and profitability. CK was as well. Windsor was in the bottom 20%. So thought the time was eventually, if we decide, if a council decides it's time to sell it, that CK would probably be
the preferred
the
destination.
preferred buyer. I think they call Integris now.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that was long term. That was sort of, we knew we'd all be gone before any of that happened.
Hmm.
But the plan was, we obviously had to borrow to purchase from Lakeshore and Kingsville.
Can you touch on that transaction?
On the borrowing,
Yes, because what I heard is that it was a borrowing, but then it was spun out as a special dividend, and the ELK kept the debt.
no.
Is okay? Can you? Yeah, let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, ELK had the debt. ELK borrowed to buy out the two,
Hmm.
and ELK, from their profits, were to pay off the debt in 10 years. And if and when there was excess funds, there would be dividends to the town. And that was sort of just starting to happen when I left the town. So I think,
So,
if I recall, we were paying it off faster than we needed to.
okay, and you know that debt, the purchase debt, was paid off in full during your term.
No, I don't think it was done yet by then, but it was getting there. But
Uh-huh.
we had got some dividends from it.
Okay, so instead of
Yeah,
focusing purely on just paying off the debt, you were actually issuing dividends to the town
yeah,
throughout the
yeah.
years.
And Donna would have the details on that.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was happening. It was. I don't think we ever intended to sell it this soon, but when Sherry Bondi became mayor, the writing was on the wall. She wanted to sell it ever since she got on council.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think? Is
Who are
that
you reporting for?
personal?
Okay.
I don't represent any
Not the Star, not the
free press, nothing like
radio.
that. No.
Okay.
So you don't want to touch on
Well,
Sherry
on
because
the
it's
politics.
conjecture, right? Because you don't
Yeah.
know for sure that she wanted to sell.
Well, she spent years denigrating it, and I think her long-term goal was to sell it. And of course, as soon as she became mayor, it didn't take long. She sold it to the wrong, well, in my opinion, the wrong people.
Right.
But I mean, the ratings could have changed. I mean, Integris and ELK were in the top 20%. which utilities was in the bottom 20%, but that could have changed over the 10 years, 13 years since I've been gone. It's all the provinces did these ratings every year.
Well,
All this like 77 utilities were rated in order of, they had different criteria: service, profitability. You
I moved to town at the end of 2019, and so I'm like I just remember hearing the story that um, Sherry got fined by the integrity commissioner because of remarks made about ELK and that. I don't have the full
That may
details.
be the case, but I know there was something going on. But it was after I left.
Okay.
Once I left working for the town, I went to Peely Island for 4 years and worked there.
Oh, right on.
So the province needed somebody to go there, and as I was retiring and lived nearby, they approached me to go. So I sort of was more immersed in the politics of Peely Island than the politics of Essex at the time. And when I retired, I decided I thought about running for council. I thought, no, I need to stay right out of it, because 27 years. I spent 6 years on council and 25 years as CAO. So,
Seen a lot
and
over
I
the
was
years.
burned up because of the amalgamation.
Yeah, a lot of bickering over that, I can imagine.
Oh yeah, it still goes on, but not as bad. But it was awful. It's unbelievable.
Let me ask you, Wayne, do you have any like closing thoughts or things you want to say about this investment in particular, or just to talk about as your time with the town?
About the
The,
ELK transaction, the
yeah,
recent. Yeah, I don't think they've released a sale price yet, have they?
they have.
Uh, And what was it?
So this is a huge point of contention,
Uh huh.
um, because, and this is kind of what got me reporting on this.
Mm-hmm.
At council, they reported a gain of $11 million
Yeah.
because they said they sold it for 20, say 22,
Yeah.
and they bought it for 11.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, it's like, yeah, okay, I see that. However, the point of contention is they didn't place any value on their own shares,
Yeah.
the 38% that Essex owned already as part of the company.
Yeah.
And so, in your opinion, shouldn't that be factored into the valuation?
Yeah. So if let's say the Kingsville Lakeshore shares were worth 11 million, then our share was worth say 7.
Yes.
So it was worth 18 million.
Yes.
So
And so a councillor, Hammond, the
uh
Ward 4 councillor right now, brought this up
really,
in
Bradley?
council chambers while they're disclosing the sale process,
Yeah.
price, and all this. And they shut him down.
Yeah.
They interrupted. They didn't want to hear it.
Oh, Sherry wouldn't want to hear that.
And because it's
Yeah.
like throwing a wrench in there. Oh, we made a big gain on this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe it's a big gain right now. So either you own elk or you have, let's say, $22 million in your pocket.
Yes.
$22 million right now at maybe at the best 4% is going to bring you in what?
$600,000.
Yeah.
Well, because they,
Where
they, they took 7 million and they're paying down the debt that they recently accumulated with the town hall expansion, with the fire hall 3, and
Yeah.
with some going to the new sports field too.
That's exactly what I was afraid would happen. They'll sell it and blow the money. The money won't sit in the bank to earn.
They have set aside $15 million into a legacy fund, so that is untouchable. They put covenants on it, and that $15 million, they went through a supposed RFP process, which they do not disclose what the criteria was, or
Yeah.
but they chose a Calgary-based CIBC financial group to invest our money, the 15 million, into various municipal and provincial bonds. Do you think that's wise? The look on your face says that looks confusing.
Seems a bit confusing to hire somebody in Calgary to handle money for an Ontario town.
Yeah.
I mean, how can I mean?
To be fair, I think they also have a branch in Brantford or somewhere in the GTA.
Yeah. Well, if it's CIBC, they have a branch right here.
But I also heard CIBC just left Harrow after like 80 years.
Yeah,
Why
I
would
didn't hear that, but it
the
doesn't
branch in
surprise me.
Harrow's closed? It's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So why would they go with CIBC? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
don't
did
know if
have a
they would know
question about
if
this.
that's the best investment they could find. But
I did have a question about this in regards to that.
hmm
Would you be aware if ELK had any long-term debt with CIBC and somehow they converted it over or kept that relationship with CIBC and said, okay, retire this debt and we'll put our investments with you?
yeah, I'm not sure which bank we had borrowed the money from. It wasn't the Essex branch for sure. I really don't know.
That's okay.
Donna would know.
Donna, okay.
Yeah, if you want a full story, you need to talk to her sometime.
Is she still around?
Yeah, as far as I know, I haven't heard from her in probably a year, but
Oh, in a year. That means you're still in touch with her.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
nice. Old colleagues and still
yeah. Well,
keep in
for a
touch.
while we were having an old CAO's meeting every 2 or 3 months. There was me, Donna, Chris Nepsey,
I've heard that
and
name.
Doug Sweet. He was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
current one at the time. So the four of us would just meet for lunch because we were all friends because we worked together so long. Like I hired every one of those three.
Oh, neat.
So and they all became CAO at one point.
Can you maybe touch on the most recent one, Kate Jurusevich?
I don't know Kate.
Okay.
I've never met her. She's an accountant, and now she's CAO. Actually, my wife used to work with her. My wife was CAO, and had nothing but praise for her.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The CAO job has changed a lot over the years. I mean, it used to be when I became CAO in 1987. The towns around us, this was before amalgamations, all the CAOs had been there 15, 20 years. I was the baby of the group. And CAOs used to start working for municipality and stay until they retired. I mean, now, I think the average changeover is like 3 to 4 years. Like I was CAO for 25 years, and they've had six since I left 13 years ago.
Wow.
6, yeah.
Wow.
Kate is the sixth in 13 years.
Are you aware of why there'd be such turnover?
Well, it used to be back when I started. If you
Like, are people leaving on their own accord, or are they getting pushed out?
Only one got pushed out. That was the second one after me. Yeah, council made a huge mistake hiring that person to begin with. All they had to do was check her references, and they would have known that.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that from working on Pili Island. The first guy we hired, he was an older guy, had maybe 10 years to retirement. He came from somewhere near Winnipeg, I believe. And after a couple of years, he decided to want to go home. He wanted to go home because his kids were still there and whatever. So he left voluntarily. And then there was this other person that didn't last a year. As far as I've heard, got a huge payout.
But that's okay. That's okay. Let's leave that. That's not really relevant to the story.
And then Donna, and she was ready to retire, but she always had dreamed of being CAO before she retired.
Oh, okay.
So she did it for a year, maybe two. And then Chris, he was our head of all our engineering and public works. He was sort of next in line. He had applied at least twice previously and been passed over. So he got it, but then he got a big offer from Windsor. And then the mayor there fired him.
Eddie? Or
no, the
right.
current mayor,
Drew Dilkins?
Drew Dilkins. Who's the one before?
Eddie Francis?
I think it was Drew that fired him.
Mm.
Because all of a sudden, the province started giving strong mayor powers to the mayors of the bigger cities.
Yes.
And I think that was one of Dilkins' first actions. He fired some people he didn't like. They used the excuse when they fired him that they were changing the system, creating different positions, and he didn't fit. Well, then his position didn't change. They just filled it with somebody Drew Dilkins liked.
This has been going on for a lot of things. I just come across the file of social housing.
Mm-hmm.
You know how Windsor runs the county stuff too. So are you aware that like we had a board seat there. Sherry was our representative.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a year ago, um, Drew Dilkins and Windsor City Council basically disbanded the entire board of CHC and then reappointed their own chosen people. And now we don't have a seat.
Yeah, and how can you do that? I mean, I don't know. I don't like these strong mayor powers. It becomes more like American cities
Hmm.
where their CAOs, their clerks, their treasurers are all just friends of the mayor.
Yeah,
You know,
the
and
nepotism.
I think the province. I'm not sure how it turned out. The province was going to give strong mayor powers to all the smaller towns, including us. And I know Sherry said she didn't want it, but whether the town granted it anyway, whether we use it or not.
Yeah.
But strong mayor powers in a town like this, no, you need council that discusses things and decides. And I mean, CAOs, clerks, treasurers are always going to clash with mayors and council members over something. It's a matter of respecting each other and agreeing to disagree.
Well, sure.
And as CAO, I always knew council could do something really stupid. I could argue against it. I could do reports against it. I could call them and talk to them. But in the end, it was council's decision. And once it was made, it was made. No hard feelings from them that I was opposed, and no hard feelings from me that they didn't agree with me.
Yeah. Yeah. No
And
personal
and, and
attacks. Keep
that's the
everything
way it should
professional.
work. But
Right.
certain people, you get some mayors, and their first fight with the CAO, they want to fire them. Well, they're going to have a new CAO every year,
Hmm.
which means there's no continuity.
And they're always in training and trying to pick up the
Yeah,
system. And
yeah,
yeah.
and basically, it's got to the point I think where if you were hiring a CAO now, 90% of the applicants are going to be someone who just got fired from somewhere else, and you don't know was there a good reason or was it because the mayor didn't like this person?
Yeah.
Because I mean I've known other people in the past in similar positions, top municipal positions that got fired.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you
And
were
I know,
mentored by everybody in the region. All the
yeah,
CAOs got together and talked.
and yeah, and some of them got fired for cause, but maybe not enough cause, and others just the mayor or a couple council members decided they didn't like something they did or something they said, and just promptly fired them, with usually with a huge payout at the cost of the taxpayers.
Back to the ELK discussion.
Yeah,
Has the CAO always been a part of that board? And like council itself, like okay, so what I want to get at is the makeup of the board. And most recently, um, when this new term of council came in, Sherry assumed the mayorship and the chair of ELK.
mm-hmm.
I think what I heard was the whole board at that point resigned, and it was like a start fresh type deal where she got to appoint everybody on the board. And
I
she chose the CAO,
uh,
the town legal person, deputy mayor Shepley. I think there was two at large, the Kingsville rep and the Lakeshore rep.
yeah. We
Is that like a standard practice to
see.
have like half of the seats represented by the same people on council?
It's pretty well standard if it's municipally owned. That the municipal council is going to have half or more of the seats,
Okay.
and it's not. I don't think it's usual for the CAO or town treasurer or clerk to be on it.
You don't think
I
that's
don't think
usual?
it's common. Like it wasn't here anyway until we did the buyout,
Hmm.
and we were on there. It was supposed to be for a 2-year term, and I think it turned out to be 3 or 4. But we knew when we went on the board it was temporary.
See, because it seems to me like it was just a rubber stamp. It's like, isn't council supposed to be like a sober second thought to kind of assess what the utility was doing? But if it's the same people at both
Yeah,
tables, you're not. It's just going to be rubber stamp.
yeah,
Move it along.
yeah. But I mean, council in the past had, other than the members on the board, had like ELK didn't have to report to council. It was a separate company. And owned by the 3 municipalities, so we could put our people on the board. But we always tried to have, like the Essex appointees, or always tried to have a couple that were not members of council or staff.
Yeah.
Members public. But
Keep things more independent and
yeah,
different points of view
in
and
a
spread the
way,
work
but you
out.
know what they end up doing? They'll appoint a former council member that they like,
Mm.
rather than somebody that has knowledge about how utilities operate, or someone who is a forensic accountant that can keep an eye on things. Whatever. There's no expertise involved in getting on the board. It's just who you know, here and everywhere. I'm not criticizing what goes on here because that's just the way it is everywhere.
One last question about the dividends.
Yeah.
Was it ELK that was making profit and it would be over and above what they had to pay for their long term debt, so they would declare the dividend to the town? Or is it that the town would request dividend payments from ELK? That's a Donna question.
Yeah, to get the actual details, but for the first few years we weren't expecting and didn't get dividends. But because there was so much staff and council on the board, they knew when dividends would be available, and council would then ask for dividends,
Okay.
or the board knowing what council had in mind would offer. So it really just came down to, again, same people on both.
So I raised this question because it was presented at council in a table 3 where they outlined basically, oh, look, over the last 18 years, ELK has only paid us 35,000 in dividends a year. Like, they averaged it, which equates to a 0.28% return on the year. But look what we can do now. If we invest our 15 million with CIBC, we're going to get a 4% return and $600,000. And to me, it looks like apples to oranges. It's two completely different investment
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah.
Do you have a thought on that without
Well,
seeing the table and without seeing the information?
yeah. Without seeing the information, that sounds like. I mean, I think there's a lot more dividends than that. I mean, I think in one year we got close to $1 million. So see, I don't know what happened in the last 13 years.
What this table is showing is an average
Yeah,
from 18 years. So if you had a couple
yeah,
years where it was a million, well, they made sure to include all those years where it was zero.
yeah, yeah. But why was it zero? I mean, it shouldn't have been zero.
Well, like you said, like in the far past or in the
Well, the
recent,
first few
yeah,
years, yeah, it would be zero. But in recent years, it should never have been zero.
in recent years, it looks like the company was unprofitable and they were forced to sell through an OEB decision. And it looks like the reason they were so unprofitable is because they hired on so many consultants and management to run the company. Yeah.
Well, I can see that because they chased out the guy that was running it, and before he was ready to retire.
Do you have his name?
Mike Audette,
Okay.
AUDE, just AUDET, I think.
And he was a good man. He was running
He was,
ELK.
as far as I was concerned, he was good. If there was if he had any weaknesses, he was very focused on money and profit because he was basically a CA. He was a money guy. Um, he had actually worked at the town hall when I was new down there, and he was a student, student intern kind of thing. So I knew him, and but I think we underinvested in keeping up with repairs and stuff like that.
Oh yes, that's important.
In
Can
order,
you talk about that?
yeah, in order to get profit, I can't. To me, that was my impression.
Yeah, because
That
you
we,
weren't on the grid team or infrastructure team, but
no, but I mean, we would just get reports of we're doing this, this, and this, and of course, I mean, I don't know how utilities run. I was just there to watch the money. So, but my impression of both things that have happened since that we were under investing in maintenance, and that was creating a good profit. So, Sherry Bundy did not like this guy, and feeling was mutual, I think. And eventually he said, "Fuck this," and just retired. I don't know if they pushed him out or if he decided to go on his own, because I haven't talked to him since.
You know about what year that was? Just approximate.
2016, 17 maybe.
Okay, so she was a council person and a board member, but not chair.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And she would have well, anyway, that's when he left. That's when they hired all these consultants to run it, which, you can see right then. Consultants are gonna cost a lot more than
Yeah.
an employee that knows the utility. So if there's no profit since then, that's why. And as far as I'm concerned, you can thank Sherry Bundy for that.
That's what it looks like. I've got a chart that shows basically profitability up until the board changes hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it goes downhill real fast.
Yeah. Probably because we're spending too much on utilities or on consultants. And they may, the consultants may have been overspending on maintenance at that point. I don't know. I know we ran a really tight ship in terms of the number of linemen we had, the number of trucks we had, compared to Essex Power or Windsor. But that resulted, I think, in the lack of maintenance.
It seemed to me like we had consultants from KPMG,
Mm-hmm.
which is accounting and tax.
Yeah.
Grant Thornton, which is accounting and tax.
That's where my wife used to work.
And Integris to run the utility.
Yeah.
I haven't done any more further research to see if there are any others,
Yeah.
but like all of those contracts had to be in the hundreds of thousands a year.
You would think, yeah.
So
yeah, so I don't know, and like I say, I've stayed right out of it since, because if I didn't, I'd just be pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
So I haven't been to a council meeting since I retired from there. I went to one. Just when they introduced the new CAO, but that was it.
Oh, that's nice. You went as like a
Just in the audience.
kind of like as a representative of that line of CAOs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I've stayed right out of it, which is why I can't give you much recent information, because, but I know I don't agree with it. Never was the plan. We had
Yeah, the plan was never to sell to Windsor.
No, it was never to sell to Windsor, because you can't trust Windsor. Never been able to trust Windsor.
Well, I just pointed out they disbanded social housing and took our board seat away.
Yeah. Yeah. And there should have been an agreement that would prevent that. But, that had happened so long ago. But, our other reserves, I think, are getting spent. The landfill, I don't know if you've heard of the landfill reserve, but
I heard that it's dwindling.
yeah, there's no way it should be dwindling.
The tipping fees are going somewhere else, or I don't know. I'm not privy to that.
Well, the revenue that comes in from it might be dwindling, but they're spending way more than was in the original plan. So the fund isn't growing like it should have. We had a 40-year plan. Spent a lot of time working on it, and on what we were going to do with what we got from the landfill every year, and to make sure that the fund grew and just keep investing. Because let's say we were getting $1.5 million a year from the landfill. Once that stops, where are you going to get that $1.5 million bucks? So we had it set up so that at the end of 40 years, even though the landfill was supposed to be 25 years, by this time it was clear that it was going to last 40. So we had a 40-year plan from start to finish, that by time the landfill closed and stopped paying us anything, the fund would be able to give us $1.5 million a year just in interest, to soften the blow of the landfill closing and that revenue stream ending. It was a great revenue stream, but I think councils after I left found it easier to spend that money than raise taxes, and that's true. But they're spending a lot of money. I don't know how much the new town hall was, probably $6-7 million. But
I mean, it just from a business standpoint, I look at it and go, okay, you sold a producing utility, which brings in revenue,
Yeah,
ELK,
yeah,
to put the money into town hall, which is non-producing,
yeah,
fire hall, which is non-producing,
yeah,
and the fire hall doesn't have bunk accommodations or something,
yeah,
so it's not going to lower anybody's insurance
yeah.
payments. And then the sports fields, which seems to me that's the money pit. We already have sports fields.
We don't have enough.
No, eh?
No. Um,
I know that plan has been on the docket for a long time, but
yeah,
the provincial and federal grants have kind of fallen off.
yeah,
They want to push forward with just doing it ourselves.
yeah, yeah. When I left, that was the backup plan. The real plan, we were trying to acquire the project, property adjacent to our current ball fields and soccer fields, but the owner wouldn't sell.
Oh, so now it's that housing development.
Yeah,
Uh huh.
yeah,
That would have been smart,
yeah.
and just kind of expand
We wanted to make a deal
southward.
there. Actually, back in the late '80s, we wanted to buy that property, and the owner wouldn't sell, just wouldn't sell. He was farming it, that whole area, and we wanted to buy it, and didn't matter what we offered, he wouldn't sell it. And then, if I recall right, he died, and his kids sold it overnight without us even knowing, to the developer. And what I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
it was a shark. You he's been sitting on it all this time, waiting, basically for town council that would get into it. So I don't know what's happened there, but I mean, town does need development space. But that was the backup plan.
The Highway 3 thing?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to go, uh, you know, to have the underpass, so kids weren't crossing. But we didn't own property there at the time. Well, we owned the public works property, but
Yeah, across the street.
not
Sure.
across the street. So
Well, let's wrap it up, Wayne.
yeah, sure.
What a great interview.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of other projects I can talk about, but
ELK is the main one. That's the topic of the day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've tried to stay out of it. I don't agree with the sale, but you know, if they've put it in the condition that they had to sell, if the OEB said they had to sell, well, then they have to sell.
Well, the OEB has the law that you have to run a profit.
Yeah.
So if the company was run into the ground and they're not making profit,
Yeah.
what's your alternative?
Yeah, but I've told you who I think you can thank for that.
Right.
Not 100%.
Yes, sir.
A certain mayor has always had a bug up her ass about, and rather than, I mean, the way she operates is brutal.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. So where's this information going?
Straight to the internet. Just on my Facebook page.
You write it up, or you just put the whole discussion on, or
If you are opposed to putting it on, I'll write it up or take certain points.
yeah,
I mean, nothing came up that was
Yeah.
like crazy
no,
or
other than I just got Mayor Rodney pissed off at me, but I don't care.
she's, I mean, pissed off at half the town, really. I was in her good books, and now I start, getting critical of ELK, and now
Yeah.
I'm in her bad books.
Yeah, yeah. She, well,